Fast cuts. A cramped-looking tiny home. Then a wall slides open. A staircase reveals a hidden drawer. A bed lifts to reveal a closet nobody expected. What if I told you the tiny home you're looking at right now, the one that looks like it can barely fit a couch and a coffee maker, is secretly hiding more storage than a 2-car garage? No trick photography, no CGI, just design. Somewhere in that staircase behind me is a drawer big enough to fit a season's worth of clothes. Somewhere under that floor is a compartment most visitors will never even notice exists. And somewhere behind that, wall. It's not a wall at all. Today, I'm going to show you the exact hidden storage secrets that tiny home designers in 2026 are using to make 200 square foot homes feel like they have double the space. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a blank wall, a staircase, or even a set of stairs the same way again. But before we go any further, if you're someone who dreams of small space living, minimalism, or just wants your own home to feel bigger without knocking down walls, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, tap it. Because what I'm about to show you in the next few minutes is going to completely change how you look at small spaces. And I post videos like this every single week. Subscribed? Good. Let's get into it. Here's the biggest myth about tiny living. People assume that going tiny means giving up your stuff, downsizing to nothing, living like a monk with 3 shirts and a toothbrush. That myth is outdated. In 2026, tiny home designers threw out the old rulebook. The new golden rule? Storage should perform without announcing itself. In other words, the best storage in a tiny home isn't the storage you can see. It's the storage that's built so seamlessly into the structure that you don't even clock it as storage. It just looks like a wall, a step, or a bench. This one shift in thinking is the difference between a tiny home that feels like a shoebox and a tiny home that feels like a boutique hotel suite. So let's break down exactly how they're pulling it off, room by room, trick by trick. And trust me, secret number 4 is the one most people never even think to ask their builder about. Let's start with one of the single most valuable pieces of real estate in any tiny home. The staircase leading up to the sleeping loft. In a regular house, stairs are just stairs. Dead space underneath. Wasted volume. But in a well-designed, tiny home, that staircase becomes a fully loaded storage system in disguise. Picture this. Each step pulls open like a drawer. One step holds folded sweaters. The next holds shoes. The next holds towels. Some tiny homeowners even build a walk-on closet, where literally every single step doubles as a drawer for their entire wardrobe. And it doesn't stop at drawers. The hollow triangle of space underneath the staircase, that's often turned into cabinets tall enough to store bulky items. Vacuum cleaners, luggage, even a hidden spot for a pet's litter box, tucked behind a small custom door with a pet entrance cut right into it. Guests walk right past it and have no idea it's there. Even the vertical side panels of the staircase get used, turned into slim cubbies for books, toiletries, or a bathroom nook tucked high up where you'd never think to look. One staircase, 4 to 6 separate storage systems. That's the level of thinking that separates an amateur tiny home build from a professional one. Here's where it gets really interesting. In 2026, tiny home walls are no longer just flat vertical surfaces separating one room from another. Designers now treat every wall as a full-height storage system, floor to ceiling, structurally built in from the very beginning of the design process, not added on afterward as an afterthought. Instead of bulky cabinets that stick out and eat up floor space, storage gets recessed directly into the wall cavity itself, built into the empty space between the studs that would otherwise just be filled with insulation and nothing else. That space that used to be completely wasted, and now it's holding spices, first aid kits, chargers, or a hidden mail and key station right by the front door. And the genius part? Tall cabinetry is often built with graduated depth. Deeper shelves down low where you need to grab things quickly, and slimmer, shallower shelves up high, so the top of the cabinet doesn't visually overwhelm a small room. It's a subtle trick, but it's the reason some tiny homes feel airy and open while others, built without this thinking, feel like a closet exploded into a living room. Some builders take it even further, creating an entire storage wall. One dedicated wall packed with cubbies, drawers, and cabinets, built around a window, so natural light still pours in. That single wall can replace an entire closet, a pantry, and a linen cabinet combined. And if there's something you don't want on display, a litter box, recycling bins, an ugly water heater, that same wall can be built to hide it completely behind a clean, seamless door. Now, everything I've shown you so far is impressive, but it's nothing compared to what's happening in the bathroom, the smallest room in the entire home, and somehow, the room where designers are being the most creative. Stick around, because what I'm about to show you might genuinely change how you think about bathrooms forever. Tiny home bathrooms are brutal. We're talking under 30 square feet in a lot of builds, barely enough room to turn around, let alone store towels, toiletries, cleaning supplies, and extra toilet paper. So here's what 2026 tiny home designers figured out. Recessed, moisture-resistant storage. Instead of adding a bulky medicine cabinet that sticks 3 inches off the wall and makes an already tight bathroom feel like a hallway, builders now carve a niche directly into the wall, lined with sealed plywood, tile, or waterproof composite panels. So it sits flush, takes zero usable floor space, and can handle humidity without warping or molding over time. And here's the space almost nobody thinks to use. The wall directly above the toilet. That's basically wasted vertical real estate in most homes. But in a tiny home, it becomes a slim, ceiling-height cabinet or a set of floating shelves that rise up without ever crowding your headspace when you stand up. The result? A bathroom that on paper sounds impossibly small, but in person feels like it has more storage than most bathrooms in a regular-sized house. It's not about adding more stuff. It's about using space that was always there and always empty. Let's talk about furniture. Because in a tiny home, if a piece of furniture only does one job, it's basically dead weight. Take the bed. In most tiny homes, the bed sits in a loft, but underneath the platform or built into its frame, you'll often find deep drawers designed specifically for seasonal clothing, extra bedding, or off-season shoes. It's storage that would otherwise be completely wasted airspace above your head as you sleep. Then there's the ottoman. Looks like a simple footstool, right? Lift the top, and it's hiding blankets, board games, or off-season decor. Some even have drawers built into the sides for smaller items like chargers or stationery. And this is where things get genuinely clever. Fold down and fold out furniture. A kitchen table that folds flat against the wall when it's not in use, giving you back an entire section of floor. A countertop extension that folds out only when you need extra prep space, then tucks away flush against the cabinetry. Even a custom-cut, oversized cutting board that fits perfectly over the sink or stovetop, instantly turning wasted appliance space into usable counter space the second you need it. Every single one of these pieces is doing double duty. And when your whole home is filled with double-duty furniture, you stop feeling like you're living in a small space. You start feeling like you're living in a space that's simply efficient. Quick question. When's the last time you actually looked up in your own home? Most people never do. And that's exactly why vertical space is one of the most underused resources in small space living. In a tiny home, the ceiling and the upper walls are just as valuable as the floor. Support beams, the wooden structural beams that hold the whole home together, get turned into shelving. Hooks get fastened directly into them to hang bikes, surfboards, or bulky gear that would otherwise take up an entire closet. Kitchens use this trick constantly. A simple rod mounted above the sink or underneath the cabinets, with S-hooks hanging mugs, pots, pans, and dish towels. It clears the counters completely, and it turns what used to be clutter into something that actually looks intentional, almost like open shelving in a high-end restaurant kitchen. Even something as small as a wall-mounted jewelry organizer, a mounted spice rack, or a pegboard, the same kind you'd find in a garage, gets repurposed as open kitchen or office storage in a tiny home. A pegboard can hold bowls and mugs in a kitchen, tools in a workspace, or jewelry and accessories in a bedroom. It's endlessly reconfigurable, which matters a lot in a home where your needs might change every few months. The bigger idea here? In a tiny home, floor space is finite, but wall space and ceiling space, almost always underused. The best designers treat every square inch, not just the floor plan, as part of the total storage budget. Now here's a secret that even a lot of tiny homeowners don't know about until they see in person. Hidden doors. A hidden door looks, from the outside, exactly like a regular wall panel or a bookshelf. But swing it open, and behind it could be up to 20 cubic feet of extra storage. Big enough for out-of-season gear, tools, or even a small pantry. completely invisible to anyone standing in the room. And then there's the classic that's having a massive comeback in 2026, the Murphy bed. A bed that folds up flush into the wall during the day, instantly giving back the entire footprint of a bedroom to be used as a living room, an office, or open floor space. At night, it folds back down in seconds. Some setups even build storage directly into the wall unit surrounding the bed. So when it's folded away, you're left with a wall of shelving instead of a wall of nothing. This is the real magic trick of tiny home design. It's not that these homes have more space than you'd expect. It's that the same square footage gets used 2, 3, sometimes 4 different ways throughout a single day. And hidden storage is the glue that makes all of it possible. Here's the twist almost nobody expects. Some of the smartest tiny home storage in 2026 isn't even inside the home at all. As indoor space keeps shrinking, designers have started pushing storage outward, onto exterior walls built specifically to hold tools and seasonal equipment, weatherproof to handle rain, heat, and humidity without breaking down. For tiny homes built on wheels, there's an entire layer of storage hiding underneath the trailer itself. Extra capacity that adds 0 square footage to the home's actual footprint. Even the outdoor deck gets in on it. Storage compartments built directly under the steps or beneath a built-in bench seat keep gear tucked away and out of sight, so the outdoor space still looks clean and intentional instead of cluttered. It's a simple but brilliant piece of logic. If you run out of room to hide things inside a home this small, you simply expand your definition of what counts as inside. So here's the real question. Why does all of this, drawers and stairs, cabinets and walls, beds that vanish, actually make a home feel bigger and not just more organized? It comes down to one simple psychological trick. Visual clutter is what makes a small space feel small, not the square footage, the clutter. When storage disappears into the structure of the home itself, when it doesn't announce itself as storage, your eyes have nothing to trip over. No stacks of bins, no overflowing shelves, just clean lines, open sight lines, and a sense of calm. Add a few strategically placed mirrors to bounce light around the room, and a 200 square foot home can genuinely start to feel like double its actual size. That's the entire secret. It was never really about square footage. It was always about what your eyes are, and aren't, forced to look at. So next time you walk into a tiny home and think, there's no way this place has enough storage, remember everything we just covered. That staircase might be a wardrobe. That wall might be a pantry. That bed might disappear completely by 9 a.m. If this video helped you see tiny homes in a whole new way, do me a favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling me which hidden storage trick blew your mind the most, and if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the tiny home world. I'll see you in the next one.